Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's head-to-head comparison, let's take a look at the 2025 Audi S5 Sportback and the 2025 BMW M440i Gran Coupe. I borrowed both of these from Audi Northlake and Hendrick BMW Northlake, so take a look at their links down in the description, along with the full detailed reviews that I've made on these models. So let's get right into it, starting off with the MSRPs. Now for the BMW, these start at $62,600 versus $57,900 for the Audi. In today's review, both of these are similarly spec'd right around the $72,000 mark. So for the BMW, this is powered by the 3-liter twin power turbo inline 6. It's paired to the 48-volt hybrid system along with the 8-speed automatic. Pumps out 386 horsepower, 398 pound-feet of torque. For the Audi, this has a 3-liter turbocharged V6 paired to an 8-speed automatic, and it pumps out 339 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. Now for the Audi, it is strictly all-wheel drive. For the BMW, this model here is rear-wheel drive. However, all-wheel drive is an option. We have curb weights of 3,900 pounds for the Audi, 4,200 for the BMW. 0 to 60 is going to be 4.6 seconds for the BMW and 4.3 for the Audi. Top speeds, 130 miles an hour for the BMW, 155 miles an hour for the Audi. And then as far as fuel economy goes, you're looking at 26 miles per gallon in the city, 32 on the highway for the BMW, and then 20 and 29 for the Audi. Now, as we work our way to the exterior styling, you'll notice we have a big difference. For the Audi, this has the hexagonal grille with the forward-facing camera. There's all the parking sensors, gloss black in that lower section there, along with the inlets on both sides, where this model is also equipped with the distance pacing. So those sensors are located within those trim accents. For the BMW, there's the kidney design for the grille. This model also has a forward-facing camera with all the sensors. There's large inlets on both sides. No sensor for distance pacing for this particular model, however, that is available. And then we do have a slightly different design for the headlight housings. Now, they're both LEDs for all the lighting too, but they just have that different design to them. And then some nice lines that come down the hood, a little bit more crisp on the Audi with those 4 lines on both sides. Now, as we work our way to the side, wheel options will vary just depending on what you would like to get. For this model, there's the 2-tone design with the red M Sport brakes. This model has the black S-Line brakes with a nice design for that wheel. There's a trim accent for the S-Line badge with the power folding side mirrors with the camera and the turn signal. And then same goes for the BMW. We do have some different trim accents, but they're power folding with the camera and the turn signal. There's also a sunroof up top. You get the sunroof on the Audi, which is a little bit different. It's all gloss black. Now you can get a package to black out the rest of it to give it a nice seamless look. You do not have that option for the BMW. Now, as we take a step back, the Audi has the more traditional door handles versus being more flush on the BMW. And then the lines running down the side are going to be similar, nothing too flashy for either of these models, but we do have the same fender arch there with just the traditional lines there, and then some nice lines in the lower side skirt there. Now, as we work our way to the back, there's a spoiler, backup camera, all the sensors, more gloss black, and then you can use the button on the key fob or the one up underneath to gain access to the cargo space, where both of these have that hatchback design to them. Now for the BMW, there's nothing under the floor, so no spare, no storage, but you have a decent amount of space. You can remove this cover. You can also fold down those back seats too, and then you have the controls up top to close it or to lock the vehicle too. Now coming back to the Audi, a little bit smaller of a spoiler in the back. There's LEDs, backup camera. You do get a quad tip dual exhaust for this model versus just the dual, and then some more gloss black accents there. Again, you can use the button on the key fob or the one up underneath, and you have pretty much that same opening. Now for this model, I'd say it's a little bit more narrow than on the BMW, but you have the bins on, or the storage nets on both sides, and you can even open up the floor. So you get the spare tire. You could use that for storage if you need to. So one advantage for the Audi here. You do have a cover that is currently on the lower section there, and then you can fold the seats down. I believe it's a little bit narrower of an opening there, but you can still fold those down and you get plenty of space. And then you have the controls up top to close and lock it. Now we have proximity door handles for the BMW, so you can unlock it from here. The interiors are going to vary just depending on the options that you go with. We have Harman Kardon, the window control, a little bit of storage down below, and then you can grab the handles here to fold down the seats. So you can't do that from the back. Now at 5'10", I'd say I have a good bit of space. There's no storage pockets. You have vents, climate adjustments, auxiliaries, a little bit of a bulge right there. And at my height, I am just barely touching this headliner. So if you are taller than me, it is going to be a little bit tighter for you, but I could sit here, be comfortable, maybe go on a small road trip. These are on the smaller side for their respective classes. Now we have the armrest with cup holders there, and then you can even fold down this middle seat if you need a little bit more space. You do have windows on both sides of that pillar, so it doesn't really hinder or block too much of that section there. And then as we work our way to the Audi, we have the proximity door handles as well. They just have a much different design. And then again, interiors will vary. So this model has a nice setup with the storage down below. And then we have that grab handle up top where you can fold these seats down. Now in the back of the Audi, we have storage nets. There's pretty much the same controls, just a different layout in the middle, along with that bulge there. Maybe not quite as much space here as you saw in the BMW. And then as far as headroom goes, again, I am right at the top of this headliner here. So any taller than me, it is going to be tight. But you do sit a little bit lower in the Audi. You have the bolstering support by your thighs there for this. Now for the armrest, you get a little bit of storage on the back section, and then the cup holders are separated there. You can also fold down the middle seat, just like you saw on the BMW, and then probably about the same amount of visibility around that pillar there. It's going to be virtually identical. Now up front, we'll just highlight some key factors since I have the full detailed reviews. Memory seating adjustments, side mirrors are also heated too. And then you have the storage down below, massaging seats for this particular model with a nice design for these seats. And then we have the start button down below with the solid and perforated leather steering wheel. There's also paddle shifters on both sides. It's a heated steering wheel. You have volume and tuning, Bluetooth and voice commands, and then some controls here to go through the virtual cockpit. You do have the view icon, so you can bring this up in full screen to further go through the rest of this information. So let's say you want to look at the nav, you can either have it minimized or brought up in that full screen there. So you have a little bit that you can go through. You have your cruise and distance pacing, storage down below, all of your headlight adjustments, along with one air vent. No head-up display for this model, but that is an option. And then we have the infotainment system right in the middle, where you have that split view, as well as the rest of these icons to go through, and then shortcuts on the left side where you can further get into that. The air vent underneath that goes all the way to the passenger side. Then you have another LCD screen for your climate adjustments. So you can get through all of these, heated seats, temperature dials too. And then there's a shortcut to drive select. So you can go through the different drive modes there, depending on the throttle response that you would like. There's the engine start stop, traction control, parking sensors. You can turn that upper screen off. You get a little bit of storage with some auxiliaries, cup holders, more storage. Let's take a look at that 360 camera system where you have all of these icons in the lower section. So you can quickly get through all of those angles. You have drive, the ability to shift here or with the paddles, e-brake, volume and tuning, some more storage. Wireless charging is in the middle. There's an auxiliary there. And then you have plenty of storage in the glove box. You get garage door buttons up top. And then you have the dome lights along with the sunshade and the sunroof, which are both power operating. And then here's a look at visibility over both shoulders. It's pretty easy to see. Like I mentioned with that pillar there, it's not all that hard to see around. So you get more of that sedan style with that hatchback functionality. Now up front, you get memory seating adjustments. Side mirrors are not heated, but they are power folding. And then you have some similar adjustments. And then power seats. These ones are not massaging. And then as we start this up, we get a solid leather steering wheel with the flat bottom design, paddle shifters too. You have cruise control settings, volume tuning, everything is very similar there. And then the layout is just going to be different to go through this information. So you have all this content, and then you can actually change the layout too. So a little bit different than the Audi, of course. Now you have no storage over here. You have the headlight adjustments, one air vent, no head-up display for this model either. And then we have the large touchscreen system with the curved design. So it's integrated into the gauge cluster. You have all the shortcuts in the lower section, and then you have the controls down below. So you can use this either as a touchscreen or not. We have the heated steering wheel in the screen itself, along with the heated seats. There's the carbon fiber accents, which again are optional. You have some air vents, power and volume tuning, defrosters. Wireless charging is down below with your cup holders and auxiliaries. And then we have a different design for the shifter here, where we have the 360 camera system. This model gets automatic parking and the backup assistance. I believe the parallel parking is an option on the Audi. And then you have a little bit different of a design to go through the camera system here, but pretty much the same functions. You have drive and sport mode, so you can't shift using the shifter. You have to use the paddle shifters only. And then you have some controls over here, traction control, parking sensors, and then a few different driving modes. So very similar to what you saw on the Audi there. There's auto hold in the e-brake, auxiliaries down below there, plenty of storage in the glove box, and then you get garage door buttons up top, dome lights, and the controls for the sunshade and sunroof, as those are both power operating too. And then visibility looks like it's going to be about the same since they have a similar shape and design overall. But with the exteriors and interiors wrapped up for the BMW and the Audi, let's get both of these out on the road and see how they drive. So let's start off behind the wheel for the M440i. Minor acceleration, we're up to speed. Paddles are very responsive too. And this is just a fun vehicle to drive. It's very smooth. Even in the sports setting, we do have a few different settings here, just depending on the throttle input you would like. Not a loud vehicle either. So even in sport mode, it's very toned down, but for this style vehicle, that's what you would expect. Easy to see out of, and it's a really nice place to be. We have a lot of tech, which is in the screen, so a little bit different, but you do have the controls down below. So it's pretty easy to go through this. If you just want to use these buttons down below, you can quickly get through that. As far as the driving dynamics go, you can check out more of the driving impressions in the full detailed review, but it handles well and just a nice vehicle to daily drive. So if you're looking for the extra practicality, but you don't necessarily want the hatchback design, you can get both of these sedans with that hatchback practicality. So I think it's a really good blend between both of those and very functional for daily driving. You have a lot of options that you can get to. Again, a little bit more on the base level for this particular model, but even then, you have great interior materials and all of that. But it's super comfortable and quiet. It's very refined feeling, as you would expect from a BMW. So it's a great option to go with, a little bit on the smaller side, so it's going to be easier to park. We have the parallel parking feature, which is going to help too, and just a really nice place to be. So now let's jump into the Audi and see the differences. And behind the wheel now for the Audi in dynamic second gear, here we go. A little bit more of a throaty exhaust note for the Audi versus the BMW. We do have the sport exhaust for this particular model, so definitely sounds really good. And paddles are going to be just as responsive as the BMW, so really not a significant difference there. But as you can tell, we have a much different interior layout. So whichever one you are drawn to more, we have more physical buttons in the Audi versus the BMW. However, we have the controls to control the screen versus this is strictly a touchscreen system. So whichever one is going to suit you best. As far as the driving dynamics and characteristics go, we do have a tight turning radius, which is going to be similar in the BMW. But these vehicles are going to offer you a little bit of sporty performance to them. While they're not full-on sports types of vehicles, we have some performance to them, we have some handling characteristics. These would make for great daily drivers as well because of how refined feeling they are, but they can still give you those sporty aspects. So you could take these on some back roads, some twisty roads, and just have a good handling vehicle overall. So it's a great daily driver. BMW is a great daily driver too. They're both on the smaller side, so if you maybe don't have rear seat passengers that often, maybe you just want the practicality of it, they are good vehicles to go with. Smaller means they're going to be more maneuverable, parking lot situations, and just slower speeds in general, but they're still practical to put people in them if and when you need to. So if you're looking for a sedan, but you kind of want something that can do a little bit of everything, you do have some sacrifices as far as headroom goes, but you know, like I said, I could fit in the back just fine, so it could be good for around town or something like that. But it's very quiet, refined feeling, just as you would expect for the BMW, and just a nice vehicle to drive overall. And so back from our test drive now with the BMW M440i and the Audi S5 Sportback. I know those were quick test drives, but you can take a look at the full detailed reviews. Honestly, these are both very fun, luxury-focused sedans with that hatchback practicality. So it really just depends on which exterior you like better, which interior you like, all the options and features that are available. I know not everyone's a fan of the large curved screen in the BMW. Not everyone's a fan of the tablet in the Audi either. So whichever one you prefer, you are going to enjoy them. They're both very fun vehicles, very luxury focused, and they're just going to give you a great practical vehicle with some of those sporty aspects. If you're not looking for a full sporty car, you just want some sporty aspects, you want a practical everyday style vehicle, these are great options. So comment down below, let me know, would you rather have the Audi or the BMW? If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. I'll see you all in the next video.